Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 19. I'm Ryan Higgins.
And I'm Brock Sager.
Hello, Brock. That was a long pause.
I know. Hello, Ryan.
Were you waiting for the...
I was waiting for something, because normally you add something after it, and I don't want to step on your...
Oh, okay.
Because I know how annoyed you get when people step over your talking.
That's fine. It happens all the time.
This is true.
We are back once again for another episode of Comic Talking. I don't want to jinx it, so I won't say anything. So, yeah.
I'll strangle the crap out of you.
Every time I mention we don't have a lot to talk about, we tend to talk for a while. So
Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say it. You said
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Real quick before we start, I had a correction. A few people emailed me about this, and I think I even realized it after we recorded. I just wasn't sure if anyone was going to catch it. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week. We recorded saying that the new Ultimate X-Men was written by Jonathan Hickman. It's in fact Nick Spencer, who's doing Morning Glories, who's done some little work for DC. I think he did that Jimmy Olsen book and a few other things. So, yes, not Jonathan Hickman, but Nick Spencer. But that's still a good thing. Nick Spencer is a good writer. So
yeah, and it's also good that our listeners call us on our shit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was my mistake. Actually, I grabbed that Morning Glories trade. It's sitting, well, I mean, it's still sitting in the store technically, but it's sitting with my stack of stuff to read, so it's on the reading pile. So that first trade will be read soon. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm going to finish the third trade by the time you read that.
The second trade's not even out yet.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like the Grant Morrison Super Gods. I'm going to finish that before you.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, because you started to read that, so. I guess we got... I have a bunch of emails we need to actually answer. Some stuff that I don't know a lot about, so there's no point in talking about on the podcast. But I did get an email the other day that we could talk about for a few minutes here. It's from Jame, J-A-M-E, Jame. I'm going to assume I'm probably butchering even the first name incorrectly now. It says, "Hi guys, I'm actually not a huge comic book fan. Good to know, but I really enjoyed your podcast." All right. Yeah. So I thought I'd write in along with a question just to tell you guys, keep up the good work. I get a few books, usual suspects like Dark Knight Returns, and a strange fascination with the Marvel UK Warheads title. But I'm looking for more books about alternate versions of characters. Those Marvel UK books, they've released a bunch of them here in the 90s. Like Death's Head. Death's Head 2. Yeah. War Machine was part of that, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, Machine Man. But yeah, there was a bunch of those weird Marvel UK books that mostly just wasn't
little
it like
miniseries.
Digitech?
Yeah, something? I think so. That sounds right. Yeah, a bunch of weird books. Sorry. I have read some and I love it, but I also have Gotham by Gaslight, and I think it is quite weak. I think I forgot to finish reading a sentence here.
Yeah, because it was quite weak.
But I'm looking for more books about alternative versions of characters. I have read Sun and I love it, but I also have Gotham by Gaslight, and I think it is quite weak. Any suggestions? I actually like Gotham by Gaslight, so
Read Countdown?
Well, Countdown is the... I guess they do have a lot of alternate reality.
Yeah, I mean, Countdown's not... I mean, it's okay a story, but I mean, for alternate realities, I mean, they hop from Earth to Earth to Earth to Earth in the DC universe.
The thing is, Countdown, it was one of DC's weekly series back in, what was that, 06, 07?
No, it was 09.
08, 09? Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. Whenever it was. God, it feels like it was so long ago. I guess it was more recent than that.
Yeah.
They basically
You know why? It's because Trinity was so long. We thought it was longer than that.
Trinity was in 2010, was it?
No, Trinity was 2009.
So then Countdown
because
must have been
Wednesday Comics was 2010.
So Countdown must have been 08.
Yeah, 08.
It was a weekly series in which they had a group of heroes going from all these different parallel universes as they were counting down to Final Crisis.
Because it was the search for Ray Palmer.
Right. Well, that was part of it, right? So they visited all the DC Elseworld universes. Well, not all of them, but a bunch of them. And DC's been publishing these Elseworlds for years because they used to have all those imaginary stories back in the 50s and 60s where it would be wacky versions of Superman and Batman doing all this wacky crap. And they'd say, oh, these are alternate reality versions of Batman and Superman. And they decided to, once they hit the 80s, do these Elseworld books where they were like, oh, we're going to actually make these, kind of like Marvel's What If. Like, what if Batman landed, or what if Superman landed in Gotham, Yeah. What if Superman got a power ring from the Green Lanterns, And then Marvel's classic What If series that ran for years. I mean, it goes on and off. I mean, it stopped every now and again, but it ran through the 70s, 80s, into the current stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's so many of those. They're all worth checking out. Some are better than others. You know, you have, Wolverine Old Man Logan. I know that was a real popular one from just a few years ago.
Yeah.
By Mark Miller. I thought it was actually okay. I know I kind of give Mark Miller some crap. I thought it was okay. The ending was a little weak, but
I mean that's Millar's MO.
I did like the why all the X-Men were dead reasoning, though. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't read it.
That was pretty.
But that actually was pretty cool. Like why Wolverine stopped killing and what caused the X-Men to all die and all that. It was. I have to admit that was actually pretty neat. So
it was. I mean, it was a really, really good story. But again, Millar has a problem.
It's just Miller.
It's Millar.
No, it's Miller.
Dude, I live on Millar.
I know. It is pronounced Miller. I know it's Millar, but it's pronounced Miller.
Yeah, whatever. It's Millar.
Yeah, okay.
I've lived on it all my life.
Okay.
Not Mark Miller, but the street. Which happens, the next one up happens to be Mark, but that's
right. So if you want to stalk Brock.
If you want to stalk me, it's 2943. Anyway. No, it was really good, but again, like the ending I thought it's again rushed. We could have gotten a lot more from that story than we did.
Yeah.
But it made a really good story regardless.
Yeah. I think what I like, Superman, Batman had a couple interesting arcs with kind of alternate realities.
Yeah, they did.
Alternate reality versions of the characters.
Was Public Enemies, wasn't it?
No, that was the first arc. No, it was the later arcs. It was the second, third arc. There was a couple arcs leading to superheroes. No, so it must have been the third arc because the first arc was Public Enemies. The second arc was Supergirl. So it was the third arc, and they had a couple with the...
No, I think it was Public Enemies, because Public Enemies is the one where they're the top dogs.
No, Public Enemies, the first arc, Superman Batman, is the one where Luthor is president and he's trying to take him down.
That's right.
So, I mean, your best bets, you pick up a lot of these Elseworlds, these what-ifs. There's so many of them that it's kind of hard to pinpoint a few. I know there was... some of my favorite what-ifs. There's a great what-if from the original series with these 4 different stories of Nova. Yeah.
Oh,
it's my boy Nova. Like, what if he joined the Fantastic Four? What if he did some other thing? What if he did some other third thing? I don't know. But I remember the FF one was pretty fun. So that was cool. That's a cool story. There was like, what if Conan came to like the modern day? I seem to remember that being pretty fun. So, yeah. What if Wolverine, what if Punisher's family never died?
Well, What If recently was doing what happened in the Marvel Universe didn't happen.
Recently.
Like, Annihilation, if we lost Annihilation.
Those are all kind of bland.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of gives you a different spin on it if you're looking for that alternative reality stuff. Especially, the Ultimates line is technically...
Right, all the Ultimate books.
And then,
even like Justice League Earth 2, which was the Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley, that was a really good
Superman
art.
Earth 1, Straczynski, Shane Davis.
Yeah, I really like Justice League Earth 2. That was a lot of fun. Just because it was a bit of a different spin on the Crime Syndicate. So, that was good. I'm probably missing 1,000 of them. Yeah, there's so many of them out there. Cool.
Yeah.
What else we got? Brock, you want to talk about your...
Oh, yeah.
Your little binding?
Well, you did the New Warriors about a month or so ago.
Yeah, we talked about this a handful of episodes ago where I got my first bound set of comics.
Yeah.
And Brock followed me up.
Yep, and I got Booster Gold.
Nice, all
25 issues.
25 issues.
Plus a crossover with Action Comics and the 3 Secret Origin issues for the Justice League International. And it's a thick...
It is huge.
It's fucking awesome.
Now, this is the size. This is probably... We got the Walt Simonson Thor omnibus up there. It's at least the size of this thing.
No, I think it's more the Incredible Hulk omnibus.
Oh, I don't know. Put it up to that Thor. This thing is massive. Okay, so not quite as big. It's
about the size of this.
So you're probably talking about 600 pages there or something like that.
Yeah. No, it looks fantastic. I got the gold cover. It'll be on my blog.
Yeah, I thought the gold and blue may look a little garish, regardless of Booster Gold's costume being gold and blue, but it actually looks really nice. Yeah. So I'm surprised.
Had the vintage DC logo.
I like
that. With that one.
So they did have that.
Yeah.
To use. Yeah, that's cool.
And then the nice thing though is because of the old paper, you can tell where the issues end. So it's like it's really nice. And then
just looking at it, doesn't look like there's a lot of trim. It's very clean. I know the New Warrior ones I got when it went to sort of the modern paper. You could sort of see like halfway through the volume, the spine becomes all black because they don't have the boundary anymore. Mm-hmm. It's on the splash pages or on any of the pages. All the ink and everything goes right to the edge, so you can kind of see it. But no, it looks really nice.
Yeah, there's only a few things where like the paper inside where they cut was like had a hole or a fray. But overall, I mean,
it's gonna happen.
Looks really, really good.
Nice. And, so what's Outsiders?
Batman and the Outsiders, Volume 1 and 2 of that series.
What's your map? Because I know people like to call a map. It's sort of like your order. I mean, you just doing them straight through? Are there any crossovers?
I think I'm going to try and include the first appearance, which is Brave and the Bold 200?
That sounds right.
Or is it World's Finest?
No, I think it's Brave.
It's Brave and the Bold.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah. Just like, with the Booster Gold, I researched his, like, the reading order and the chronological order of the books and, like, the actual order of the books. And it became really confusing because Booster Gold is a time traveler. So a lot of the stories, like, current issues took place before, like, issue 3 of his series.
It is Brave and the Bold 200.
Yeah. So, like, I would probably do, like, Brave and the Bold 200.
Yeah, start with that.
Definitely cross over with the Teen Titans when they cross over with the new Teen Titans.
Sure.
Get a couple of those going because I'm only going to do the first 2 volumes.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll do the third volume.
Well, the first volume of Batman Brave and the Bold went... How many issues did it go? 35, something like that?
With reprints or not with reprints?
Did they reprint at the end there?
Yeah, I think they reprinted at the end. So I think it went like 40-some-odd issues, like 46.
Yeah, 46, but 38 through 46. 38 through 46 were reprints from the Baxter volume of The Outsider. So was it actually something we've talked about on the podcast? I can't remember if we have or not. I don't think so. During like the mid-'80s, after DC did Crisis on Different Earths, actually, it was around the same time, a little before that, they experimented with a different type of paper, which was a heavier coat. I want to say these were only available in comic book stores. I could be wrong with that, but I don't believe they were offered at a newsstand. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a little more expensive, and they moved Legion, New Teen Titans, Outsiders. I know Omega Men launched under the Baxter paper. A bunch of kind of crappy ones. This is around the time Dazzler became the first only-to-comic shop comic. They didn't ship Dazzler to comic stands, or to newsstands. It was only to comic shops. And so this is sort of DC's take on it. It's called Baxter paper because it's just a type of paper they use. The company was called Baxter, I guess.
Maybe that's why it's hard to find those issues.
Well, so what happened was they reprinted. So New Teen Titans became Tales of the New Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Legion became, Tales of the Legion of Superheroes. And they were new stories, but then after a while, they started to take the issues that were printed on the Baxter paper and only sent to comic stores and put them on the newsprint paper, which was sent to the major chains and the newspaper stands and the paper stands, and those had the reprints of the Baxter stuff. So the tail end of Tales of the New Teen Titans, tail end of Tales of Legion, and then the last couple issues of Batman and the Outsiders.
It was Adventures of the Outsiders.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. So those are reprints. Oh, yeah, right. Adventures of Outsiders. So those are reprints of the stuff that was on the Baxter paper. So if you end up reading them and you're like, hey, this looks familiar, it's probably because you bought them in another series.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would include those.
Well, so you're looking at here, you're looking at, no, but you wouldn't because they're the exact same. Print the Baxter paper one, so you're
They're different covers, though.
You're looking at, that's fine. You're looking at 37 issues plus,
2 annuals.
26 issues. So, there's a lot going on. So, that's probably 3 or 4 volumes total.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to end up having to do is the first one will probably end up being broken into 2. So I'll have volume 1, book 1, volume 1, book 2.
Yeah.
And then with the next series, I think I can cram everything into 1. So then it'll be just volume 2. Because we talked about this, with Hellblazer.
Yeah.
Right, doing the Visionaries style kind of thing with Hellblazer, but giving it, well, this is, Ennis's run volume, or book 1, Ennis's run book 2. So,
which actually, since the DC solicitations did come out today, we finally got Hellblazer volume 2. It's finally been solicited. Took them long enough, so that's coming end of the year. So woohoo!
So yeah, but no,
cool. Keep us updated.
I got to get them all together, and I still have to find 2 issues. Number 22 of volume 1 and 2.
The same number.
The same number on both. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Keep us. Post that Booster Gold online.
I will.
Let's see. What do we got? Very, very little news the last week or two. Not a lot going on. This is something that popped up towards the end of last week. I got covered along the comic news sites. Even got covered on Wired and a few other things. Marvel's at it again with their Fear Itself number 6 variant by Ed McGuinness. You can only get it if you've sent Marvel 50 copies of DC's Flashpoint miniseries crossovers, the stripped covers. So basically, Marvel says, hey, retailer, you're stuck with all these books. Tear off the covers of 50 copies. Send us the stripped covers so we know you've destroyed the books. And if you send us 50 covers, we'll send you this variant cover. They pulled this before with Blackest Night, with all the books that came with the rings. So if you got there were a lot of these kind of crossover Outsiders, Booster Gold, a lot of kind of these tertiary titles where they said, hey, if you strip these covers off and to the retailers, send them to us, we'll send you this variant. I mean, they claimed they got a lot, but I would be hard-pressed to think so because I couldn't get anywhere close to 50 copies in order to do that for the Blackest Night ones. And for the Flashpoint ones, hell no would I do this because I've sold so many Flashpoint books. I've had to reorder every single issue with the exception of World of Flashpoint. I think that's the only book I haven't had to reorder, which is actually a shame because it's a pretty decent book. I just like Tracy 13. She's kind of neat.
I mean, I understand why the story. It's 3 different stories because it's done, but it's like 3 different stories, and it's kind of. I think what somebody mentioned to me about the Flashpoint minis was that they were expecting a little bit more oomph out of them than what they got, and this. I think for me, the sad thing is the Gorilla Grodd one shot was brutal and disgusting, and
I loved it.
And it was. I mean, it was basically a King Wants to Die story, but. It kind of pushed things a little bit, whereas the rest of the minis didn't really push anything.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where people kind of like, eh.
Yeah. I'm reading this Wired article here that got linked. There's actually kind of an interesting take on it here. As they say, in these tough economic times, we feel it is our duty to help, explained David Gabriel, Marvel's Senior Vice President of Publishing, Sales, and Circulation. I've dealt with this guy before on the boards and everything like that. Like, it rubs me the wrong way every time. Like, it's shady and underhanded, and there's always problems. It's always weird things. The guy who wrote this article, it's Jason Teague. It's got Geek Dad, which is one of the articles on Wired. Says, I can't think of anything less helpful to the economy than destroying potentially thousands of copies of a comic. The entire thing reads like a melodramatic comic villain's twisted view of reality where bad is good and they are just trying to help everybody out. Like, yeah, I can't get behind this. DC's been so good about returns on defective products, on product where if they change an inker, the book's returnable. Like, they make tons of their books returnable. Marvel makes nothing returnable. If DC said, hey, we'll give you, a copy of this variant for every Fear Itself crossover you send in, oh my god, I'd be first in line. These things are garbage. No one buys them, clogging up the racks.
This is true.
I'm sorry for anyone listening that does buy the Fear Itself variants. I know there's a few of you out there. A few of them that buy them for me as well. But seriously, if you look at those Flashpoint Flashpoint miniseries, they're almost all pretty good quality.
Yeah, I mean,
important to the story.
Yeah,
and worthwhile. The Fear Itself, the couple I've read have been just just garbage, just absolute garbage.
The only one,
X-Force one is good.
Huh?
The X-Force one I liked.
Yeah, I
like X-Force. So.
I didn't read any of the X-Force ones. I didn't. The only time I read Fear Itself was when it crossed over with Secret Avengers, and guess what happened?
It was a really bad issue.
I dropped that book.
Yeah, it's a really bad issue.
Uncanny X-Men. The only reason I got Fear Itself was because it was running through the book.
Yeah.
I pick up the only Fear Itself I pick up is the home front, and that's even falling off.
Yeah.
So it's.
What can I say? I do like Ed McGuinness, but the cover, the variant cover, is awful.
Awful?
Awful.
Oh, jeez.
Really bad. So I hadn't even bothered to look. This is the first time I've seen it. It's really. It doesn't look anything like Ed McGuinness. It's awful.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny that Marvel's telling people to destroy DC comic books, but what's funny is the Marvel book that you're getting is not going to be worth near as much as
the
DC book that you've now destroyed and made more.
Well, in theory, it's possible because I can't picture many people are going to do it. So Marvel's going to make 5 copies of them. So maybe they will become worth a lot of money. But it doesn't, money or not, it doesn't matter.
But Marvel doesn't get any of that.
I'm sure they do when they leak one a week out on eBay.
Yeah, but that's
of their copies that they printed.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just the whole thing's stupid. Like I don't like this. I wish they would stop doing it. It just bugs me every time they do crap like this.
But hey, I will go to other stores and buy Fear Itself copies just so you can get them torn off if DC does it.
I would totally. Oh man, God, DC. If anyone from DC is listening, do the same thing for Fear Itself. I could send you 50 copies alone on 3 or 4 titles. Well, it's funny because actually, I probably could get 1 copy if it was for 50 copies because I cut my orders on every Fear Itself book to basically none. So basically, what I have left over is the crap from the first month or two that I just can't get rid of. I kept my order on Fear Itself on the Fear Itself miniseries itself pretty high because that tough stuff tends to sell in back issues, and there were some variants I was trying to get for some customers, so I kind of was like, the money from the variants makes up for the issues unsold. But it's awful. It's awful how poor this miniseries and the specials and crossovers are selling. I have lowered my orders on every single book that Fear Itself is tied into because every single tie-in is sold less than the issue prior. Every single one. I was looking at it. Every copy. It's crossovers aren't supposed to do that.
I can't wait for
crossovers.
I can't wait for Fearless and Battle Scars.
That'll do well.
I am not excited for anything Marvel in the next year.
Well, I'm curious, because obviously so much attention is being paid to the DC relaunch. Do you think Marvel's going to relaunch their entire line in the next 2 or 3 years? Every book, #1, new continuity.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've already done Daredevil. They've already done Cap. They've already done.
But I mean,
hold on.
Again.
And that's what I'm getting to, is despite the fact that they've relaunched Daredevil, Punisher, Ghost Rider, they're doing Incredible Hulk again, they're doing X-Men again, Cap, all
2 X-Men books.
They're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be jump on at this point.
Now, I mean, do you think a Marvel Universe rebooted from... See, that's kind of one of the things I think is kind of funny because I wonder if... Green Lantern for DC, if there's not a lot of movement on people getting ready to jump in the Green Lantern, because it's still Jeff Johns, because it's the same creators. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I like the book. It's a good title. It sells a lot. But, this is sort of the issue I've had with Bendis and a lot of the guys at Marvel. These guys have been there for a long time now. It's the same guys for a lot of the stuff is when Quesada took over. So you end up with, Mark Waid on Daredevil and Ruck on Punisher. Those are cool changes. I'm trying to think. I mean, Jason Aaron on Hulk. That's a bit of a different change. Jonathan Hickman on FF. I like seeing that we're getting a few more people in, but I don't know that none of these guys have made the book pop yet. You know what I mean? There hasn't been one that's been a big a huge runaway success. Daredevil, Punisher did decent.
Yeah.
They did decent mid-level Marvel numbers. Cap #1 did pretty good. Again, that was just continuing over Brubaker. Yeah. For us, I mean, I'm just talking about our store here in general. We have a big Brubaker following here, so Cap did pretty decent. The launch to FF did really good, but then it went straight back to where FF numbers were pre-Death of Human Torch. Oh, there actually was a little bit of news. Speaking of that, already bringing back the Human Torch.
No.
FF 600. And they're continuing FF. Marvel loves these double launches. So yeah. And it looks like Spider-Man's also going to stay with the FF, but in his old costume. And in the Fantastic Four. And FF looks like it's going to be about the kids, which is what I expected, because that's what the Future Foundation is. So, yay!
Again,
what a surprise.
You're asking me if I'm surprised at what Marvel's doing? No.
I don't think anyone for half a second even...
you know what's funny is I think the only titles...
Is it funny that I went through everything from the last week and I didn't even consider Fantastic Four 600 with the return of the Human Torch was newsworthy? Like, I just remembered this.
No.
I think I looked right past it because I'm like, yeah, of course. Like,
and that's the thing, you don't care.
I didn't think about it for even half a second.
Because, like you said, there's no new life being...
But Jonathan Hickman is still writing both books, which is cool.
Well, no, but there's no real new life being brought to these books. Like with DC, look at what John's brought to Green Lantern, right?
Well, I think, the Batman stuff in Green Lantern may be the flaw in the plan for those titles. I think they're going to do well, but it could be that people are like, these are the same books I've been reading. Mm-hmm. I want something new.
Yeah.
That could be a drawback on those titles, especially if people have been getting burned out on Green Lantern or burned out. Well, Batman, has been pretty creatively different over the last handful of years. But I could see if people are getting burned out on Johns on Green Lantern, that this could be like, it's a reboot, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's a reboot, but it's not a reboot.
It's a rejigger. Just call it a rejigger. Just call it a rejigger.
Never say that word again.
Rejigger.
Don't
rejigger.
You're too white to say that word, okay? Never say that word again.
Too white to say rejigger.
So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I expect Marvel will follow suit with DC.
Well, I think
relaunch FF to #1 and Fantastic Four.
Jesus Christ!
you know what's going to happen.
Well, duh. I mean, they're touching.
What's our over and under here? What are we thinking? 2 years?
Do
you think Avengers is next summer, so I don't think they're going to do it by then. I don't think they have enough time. I think if they're going to plan this out... Renumbering. Every title, new continuity.
They will.
What year? When?
Well, for Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
For Marvel, they'll do at least Avengers before Avengers.
No, I'm talking every book, #1, 1 month. Exactly like DC.
Probably around the time the Avengers
Do you think they'll
out.
do this by next summer?
Yeah.
See, you may not be wrong.
And
I kind of want to go about the same time.
And that's the thing is they'll... I don't know if they'll do a complete overhaul, but they'll definitely do an overhaul attached to the Avengers.
You make Peter Parker 21 again. I mean, they basically already screwed around with his age. You redo the FF from the start, not from the start, but kind of like DC.
Well, that's the thing is Marvel. This is the thing. Marvel has two universes that they can do this with.
Well, you know what's going to cause this? Well, this is what I was going to say. It's going to happen if this new Ultimate launch fails.
Yeah.
If the new Ultimate launch doesn't bring in any new customers and things stay where they are, Marvel's going to scrap the Ultimate line, relaunch all their titles with a new #1 next summer. All right, Brock. We put our money on the table. This is it.
What money?
Exactly.
Okay.
Internet money.
The fake money.
I'm worth millions on the internet.
So am I.
Brock. So, okay, let's call this. Yeah, buy the Avengers movie. So that's,
buy the Avengers.
That's May, right?
Yeah, May, I think.
Think they need to do it by then?
If not that, they'll at least do day-and-date digital for everything.
Well, that's already coming. So.
No, for everything across the board.
That's already coming.
It's coming, but...
it'll be here by the end of the year,
don't worry. Nah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's when you said Marvel doesn't have a fresh look or anything like that, it's almost as if like...
Well, I did. You know what's funny? Because I did like Wade's Daredevil. I did like it. I thought it was cool. It just... all these new #1s for Marvel, it's kind of like they're not giving you any... I kind of feel like I've been here, done that. It'll be interesting to see what DC's take is, because I think all the #1s from Marvel are continuing basically where they left off.
Yeah, no, that's...
For all intents and purposes. Yeah. And the DC ones have a chance of bringing something really new to the table, and I hope it's not like, and now we're just like we were... 3 issues in. I have a feeling they're going to try to do a better... Because the storylines seem that way.
Yeah.
Cap, Cap just follows exactly what happened in Cap prior. Like, there's not even a break.
There's not even a break. I mean, Cap 1 literally picks up... Spoiler alert. Oh, look, Bucky died.
Right.
And, of course, Cap 1 picks up after Fear Itself has finished. So
you know Cap's in trouble, right?
Yeah, Cap's...
Of not surviving.
Yeah, I mean, he survives, even though his shield was broken in issue 5 and nobody cared.
Yeah.
But yeah, read issue 5 and then gouge your eyeballs out.
Worse or better than... So what did you think about Franklin Richards, Savior of the Marvel Universe?
Yeah,
you totally see this is what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, so
we're going to have some spoilers here for Fear Itself, I guess, since we don't have too much to talk about. We'll just ramble. We'll pretend it's Wednesday and talk about comics for a few minutes here. In Fear Itself, number 5, so this character named Franklin Richards, for all of you that don't know, he is the son of the Human Torch. Of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. He has experienced godlike powers in the past, creating alternate realities and shunting all the characters over into this other world and all this crazy crap. They basically... he comes out in this issue and he's like, yeah, you know all those powers my parents told me to not use? I lied. Or like, I told them I'd never use it again. I lied. And he just like fixes the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Franklin Richards just walks up to the gods in the next issue and goes, yep, bye, done.
Yeah.
I kick you off to some alternate universe.
I don't know, is it one more issue? Or is it 2 more?
Is it 6 or 8? I don't remember. I think it's 8.
They're going to go for 8 issues?
I think it's self.
Holy shit.
Or no, I think it's 7.
Because if they go for 8 issues, I'm going to kill myself.
No, let me take a look here. I don't remember if it's 7 or 8. Oh, no, it's 7 issues. 7
thank
issues.
God.
Yeah, so 2 issues left. Thank issues God. Left.
Oh man, I couldn't stand 8 issues. I can barely stand an issue when it comes out. I'm sorry, guys, for listening. I mean, you were Marvel bashing up the wazoo, but I can't get behind anything. Like the only reason I'm going to check out that Incredible Hulk by Jason Aaron is
why?
Because it's Mark Silvestri drawing.
Yeah,
and he's only going to draw for like 1 or 2 issues, and then
we'll see if he even finishes the first issue.
Yeah, and then I'll be okay. This is basically Ghost Rider or Wolverine relaunched with Jason Aaron. So
yeah.
You know, I think that like you said with the whole Marvels, they're not pushing the envelope. They're not trying to give us something new. Like reading Marvel comic books and then going and watching Marvel movies, and you get like, even though it's like a combination of everything, it still felt new.
Oh, the movies are very exciting, and I always come out of them going, yeah, and then I go to the books and I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, so
like, you know, it's funny because it's not that I'm anti-Marvel at all. It's not that I hate Marvel and have hated Marvel. Like, I just, as time went on, I just disliked them more and more, and there's been nothing to change.
No.
You know, I think especially the late 90s, early 2000s when Quesada took over, I mean, there was a lot of great stuff going on in Marvel at that time, and they brought some really cool stuff to the table. And I just feel like it's all gone away. None of it's been worth it. I mean, Fear Itself, for a major crossover, I mean, we've basically seen Civil War was the absolute height of the modern Marvel crossover. Yeah. World War Hulk was sort of like unnecessary. It was okay, but it was kind of unnecessary.
It was, I'm mad. All right. Okay, you know I'm mad.
All right. We start with House of M.
Yeah.
House of M, which was the big, alternate universe. Oh, hey, there's, for the guy that was asking about alternate universe stuff earlier. House of M was actually pretty decent.
I liked House of M.
I thought there was good stuff. Scarlet Witch made it so there were no more mutants. You ended up having all this alternate reality stuff going on, where this world where mutants ruled the world, and at the very end, there were no more mutants, so that only the main X-Men survived.
The funny thing is she said no more mutants, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
And we still haven't gotten out of that. It's like, I think that's
7, 04,
I think that's a big problem, like especially with the X-Men universe for Marvel, is they stick to.
I've heard that there's rumors that's ending and Scarlet Witch is coming back because they're finally finishing up Avengers Children's Crusade, which is the return of Scarlet Witch, which is like 3 years late.
Well, yeah, I mean, didn't she came back at the end of Mighty Avengers?
No, I don't think that was her.
Oh no, it was Loki. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, she's back in Avengers Children's Crusade.
Yeah, but
but that book is so out of continuity, so I don't know.
But like the X-Men have been going for 6-7 years with this, mutants are dying off, so on and so forth. And granted, X-Men did a lot of cool things in the past few years. They went to San Francisco. Yeah. It's a different look, kind of still stemming from Morrison's new X-Men run.
Right.
You have a lot of stuff going on in this book, but we still have the key shit that keeps getting recycled. We have No More Mutants, which has been 7 years and still not done. We have, the humans don't like the mutants and they're trying to kill us. Then we have the religious right of whoever doesn't want us and they're trying to kill us. And then you have the people who want to be mutants and try and kill. It's the genocide, what is it? Anti-Semitism?
Yep.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
What?
Anti-Semitism, or is it sentiment? Like when it's like the persecution of the Jews by the German, like by Adolf Hitler, the persecution of the Jews. It's like repeats this shit over and that's all the X-Men are doing.
Right.
Right. It's just this repeat. Anti-Semite. Thank you.
Anti-Semitism. Yes.
And that's what's made the X-Men stagnant in the past, 6 years, is because it's the same recycled, rehashed stories over and over again, throw in some vampires or throw in some undead people because we're trying to change it up a little bit and bring Dracula in or copy Blackest Night. But, hey.
Yeah. It's funny, as you were talking here, I didn't mean to kind of zone out for a second, but I was flipping through the Fear Itself Wikipedia page here. Half of this thing is talking about the reviews from Comic Book Resources. So like Comic Book Resources like troll this Wikipedia page or something and add all of its reviews to this thing? Like, what's going on here? This is the most ridiculous.
Well, if they did, can somebody go report them?
I should report them for false information on this Wikipedia page to the Nazis
and
on Wikipedia.
Whoever jerked around Ryan Scott and his Suicide Squad page needs to effing die. I looked at that page before they changed it. That was awesome. Yeah. That page was detailed, oriented. It was the best piece of information Wikipedia had ever. And then some dumbass announced, this is just a fan posting shit.
Right.
And it's like, dude, this page was even better than the Superman page and the Batman page.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome page. Anyway, Marvel, X-Men, Fear Itself. What can you do? I'm
not buy Marvel books?
I'm done with it. I'm over. I want to buy Marvel books, but not this Marvel books.
I don't know. It was funny, like not this past week, but the week before, I didn't have any Marvel titles.
Yeah, I still get a few here and there. So I'd love to buy more, but
well, I mean, your main books are Cap,
the Annihilation stuff.
But they haven't done any Annihilation.
Yeah, there's a new one coming. I mean, I'll follow Brubaker into that stuff. He's pretty cool. You're
on the Fantastic Four, right?
No, I'm not buying.
Not the Hickman.
No, it's good. I like it, but my take-home collection is not. Literally, that's it.
Cap is
various various major New Warrior appearances, Captain America and Annihilation. That's it. And I hate to say it, if Brubaker leaves Cap, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean that's me. I mean, I get Cap, I get Spidey, I stuck X-Men.
I stuck on Daredevil after Brubaker left, and I didn't hate it, but what's it called Shadowland was just so awful. And then I was like, nope, I don't care. I'm done with the character forever. Don't care anymore.
Well, you didn't want Black Panther, the Man Without Fear?
No. And like I said, I like the Mark Waid one, but it's just like, it's so hard when you kill your interest in a book. It's so hard to get it back.
Well, and I think that's the risk that DC's taking with what they're doing in September.
Very big.
And again, that's all I can say is that I'm hopeful. And I think the reason we don't really have anything to talk about, even though we've been rambling on because we're good at that.
Everyone's waiting for September.
Everyone's waiting for September. They're waiting for our midnight sale.
Yeah, speaking of which, so we'll have one quick announcement real quick, then we'll do our picks and get out of here. On Tuesday, August 30th, we will be doing a midnight sale of Justice League #1 and Flashpoint #5.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say goodbye to the universe that you love so dearly, and
not really. I mean,
and then you can say hello.
It's Flashpoint.
To the
it's an alternative reality.
And you can say hello to the brand new universe. So basically, what's going to happen? We're not quite sure how we're going to do the podcast because normally we record the Geekbox podcast on Tuesdays. We may switch stuff around one way or another. We're going to be open at 8 p.m. This is on Tuesday. We will have free drinks and free food and pizza and chips and alcohol and beer and soda and all sorts of stuff and a party. May have my buddy come down and DJ, playing some stuff on the TV, my crappy old TV that I still have up here. It's kind of shooting the shit, talk about your favorite DC moments, sad to see the characters go away, excited for the new characters, till 12 o'clock. And at 12:01, we'll sell the book. We did this for the Stephen King Dark Tower book a couple years ago. We had good 30, 40 people here. I mean, it was a pretty good turnout. I've had a lot of people said that they're going to come down for the DC book, a lot of our regulars, and then they'll be back on Wednesday for everything else. But those are the only 2 DC books coming out that week, are Flashpoint number 5 and JLA. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Feel free to come down, hang.
Now, you'll have both copies of the Justice League for sale, right?
I will have the regular copy of Justice League. I will have the variant copy for Justice League. I should have a copy or 2 of the 1 in 25 variant for Justice League, and we'll have a handful of copies of the digital copy available for sale. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of different variants and specials. That'd be fun. I got a flyer up on the site. I'll put it up on the Geekbox site. If you want to come down, hang, say hey, we'll be here. So it is a Tuesday night. It is at midnight. I understand that's probably not optimal for most people, but hey, it's a party at a comic book store.
I got permission to come, so
I got nothing to do except go to sleep and wake up. Oh God, I'm gonna be up from 6 o'clock in the morning till probably 12:30 or 1:30 here at the store. Oh my God!
And then we have to record. And then you got to sell the book. Then you got to kick everybody out so you can go to bed at a decent hour to wake up. To sell this shit and talk about this shit on Wednesday again.
To come back and set everything back up again. So, yeah. Ugh, what a pain. Forget it. I can't. It's canceled. It's over. It's done. I'm going to go home and go to bed. No. Come down and say hey.
Man, you are 32.
29.
Oh, bullshit. You're 32. Just deal with it.
Brock, I know what your random pick for the week is here, and this is not a random pick. This is like a whole episode pick, but go ahead and do your pick. We'll talk about it more later while I think of something.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Walking Dead.
Psst.
Don't psst.
Are you going to fire yourself off the book?
Am I going to fire myself off the book?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Frank Darabont got fired off the show.
Oh.
They're cutting the budget, apparently, wicked bad for Walking Dead. They want to, take out the zombies and, have people react to, shadows.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bedtimes. Sorry, Walking Dead show. Yeah, sorry, Walking Dead TV show. You were awesome for the first 6 episodes. Now you're over. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, Walking Dead has been an amazing series, and I hate zombies. I hate them, and never liked watching zombie movies, and so it was really interesting to pick up Walking Dead after Ryan told me a couple times, just read it, read it. So there's 14 trades out right now, and there's a couple ways to get it. You can get the hardcovers. They do have the hardcovers. They do have 14 soft covers. For the soft covers, there is what's called a compendium volume, which actually collects the first 8 trades, which is the cheaper way to go if you're going to buy the trades. But Walking Dead's a really amazing read. It focuses more on life without, anything. Electricity, TV, the computer, phones, warm water, all that stuff. What would happen in a world where, these were no longer the norms, where trying to survive was your only option. And of course, the thing you have to survive not only is a zombie apocalypse, but the people next to you, illness, pregnancy. It's savage in the way it's portrayed. Robert Kirkman does an amazing job with that book. And I definitely think you should get into it. And I hate zombies, and I'm telling you to get into it.
Why do you hate zombies so much?
I don't know. I've never really been into zombies in the sense of they go, and they walk slow, and nobody can get away from them, and everyone seems to want to go to the mall. And to me, it was just why would I want to watch this stuff? And it wasn't until actually I picked up Max Brooks' World War Z, where I kind of started to get into zombie kind of lore, because that book's amazing too. Mm-hmm. So screw it, I'm going to do a double recommendation today. Boom, boom. So I recommend you read Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman, and I also recommend you pick up World War Z by Max Brooks.
Nice.
Really, really great kind of interview style stories about what would happen before, or what happened at time, when the zombie apocalypse started, what we did, to combat it, and then we lost, and then what we're doing in the aftermath. Yeah. So, but really, really good read, World War Z. So I'm going to double whammy him this week.
There you go.
A whole lot of zombies.
I hate zombies except for Walking Dead and World War Z. Sounds to you like
Dude,
zombies.
Have you read World War Z?
No, I haven't.
Dude, I've read that book 3 times.
It's on my shelf.
It's on your shelf. Did I get you that copy?
Maybe. I don't remember. Someone did. Maybe it was my friend Sean. I don't remember who gave it to me.
I don't know.
So we hated on Marvel for a little while here, so I'm going to throw Marvel some love here. More recent books that I actually have really, really liked. Although the last maybe 3 or 4 issues.
No.
5 or 6 issues.
Oh, after issue 500 and beyond, garbage.
I don't remember. No.
500 was that alternate reality story where he's like being controlled by the Mandarin and he's making the design in the spider webs and stuff, and his family has to kill him and blow up everything.
I don't remember hating that. Well, I'm going to say the last 6 months have not been kind to this book, but prior to that,
yes.
Invincible Iron Man by Matt Fraction, and the original stuff was Salvador Larroca from Marvel. This was launched by Marvel after the first Iron Man movie came out. You could tell because the first arc features Ezekiel Stane, which is Obadiah Stane's son, who is, I believe it's the son, right? His son. Who was one of the, Obadiah Stane was the main villain character in the first Iron Man movie.
Jeff Bridges played him.
Yes. So just good art, kind of good reintroduction to Tony Stark, playing him up a little bit, kind of like the movie version, but in the modern Marvel continuity. I mean, the movies nailed Tony Stark and kind of his whole relationship with Pepper Potts. Although, I mean, in the comics, the movie plays up a love interest with Pepper. They never really did that in the comics. They kind of they have now.
Yeah, they have now.
Which I'm not against. They killed Happy Hogan in the comics a little while ago, which I didn't like that, but well, whatever. I liked Happy, but
nobody likes it when you kill somebody named Happy.
That's not very happy.
It's not very happy.
So this first book, The Five Nightmares, is a good intro. They're up to volume 5 or 6 now. If you want to check it out, I would suggest starting here because this is the first volume. There's a couple of cool ways to collect it. There's the hardcovers, there's the soft covers. There's also a couple of the Marvel Ultimate Editions or whatever they call them, which are the oversized hardcovers that collect 2 trades into one. So it's a real nice collection. Matt Fraction, we were talking about Fear Itself, and he's the writer on that, and I didn't feel what's going on in Fear Itself, and I haven't felt the last handful of issues of Iron Man. Maybe it's moving up from being kind of just not to say run of the mill in a bad way, but you're a writer on an ongoing series without going to a major crossover like that is a huge jump, having to deal with all the other titles, all the other events. So I don't know, maybe he's kind of just that learning curve. But when he's doing stuff like this, like Invincible Iron Man,
with
good stuff
with Invincible Iron Man, you bring that one up. I think that was one of the first times that Marvel has actually had a book where we see more of what's going on with Tony Stark than we do what's going on exactly with Iron Man all the time. Like, he's not always out battling everything.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of Tony Stark.
There's a lot of Tony Stark. We get a lot of like what's going on, especially there's a story arc where he starts to move, take the next step in his company. Like, he no longer has a company.
Right.
And he's stripped down to nothing. And what does he do? He's like, well, I want to make free energy for people.
Right.
And nobody wants that to ever happen. But Fraction took us on this journey saying, I'm going to tell a story where in the Marvel Universe, this is where somebody's going for this goal.
Right.
And then we lost it. Like, that story just went and died.
Yeah.
So,
it's unfortunate.
It's one of those things where you give a new spin on it, you've been working on it for a little while, but like you said, there's like that burnout where I would have preferred seeing somebody else come in and do Iron Man for, a couple stories while Fraction goes off and does Fear Itself.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is a lot of these writers are getting burnt out.
Yeah. I think there was a story that came out, I don't want to talk bad because this is a book I am recommending, but one of the more recent arcs with the one with Doc Ock.
The grovel porn?
Yeah, they kind of make some connection that Doc Ock was trying to pitch ideas to Tony Stark and his father and stuff like that. And that, I don't know. Like,
the new Doc Ock looks amazing.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Why do you hate the new Doc Ock?
Oh, I hate this new, like hooded, deformed, murderous Doc Ock. No. Give me the classic stuff. I don't like this at all. I mean, it's a little ridiculous, don't get me wrong, but I do not like this new Doc Ock at all. No, it hasn't done anything for me.
I haven't thought it was a bad move on the costume part because the costume does carry over into Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, it came from Spider-Man.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So
But I mean, this is the problem, the ongoing problem of ongoing titles like this. You're going to get good writers, bad writers. Things always change up. So, but it's worth it for the first 4 or 5 volumes. I mean, Invincible Iron Man is a really good book and totally worth it. And I mean, who knows? You might keep reading it and you may like it better than I did.
You know what? You saying that just now, and I think that, you know what? I think it's not necessarily the writers. Yeah, you get overburnt out. You're going to produce crap.
Sure.
But I think the biggest problem is it's the editors.
Well, at the end of the day, comics are written by editors, regardless of who's actually writing. You get occasional points where you have your all-star Batman or Superman, or you get your Ultimates, where really the creators come in and do whatever they want to do. But as a general rule, right, I mean, the heads of the companies and the writers and the editors all sit down, they dictate out what's going to happen for the next year or two, and you're basically on board or you're not writing the title. Mm-hmm. So, clearly the writers have their say in each story arc, but the overall, or in each story, but each overall arc, in each overall event or whatever you have, it really comes down to a big group committee, which, at the end of the day, it has to be, because this is the way these books are written. There's no way to have a writer go, well, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm not going to tell anyone. But it's like, no, they have to do it because they're writing books tie-in or crossover or whatever. So it's, I don't give them too much crap for it. I mean, I try to take each book on its own individual basis. We were talking about like Heroes for Hire and stuff, and that's a book that I really liked. Now they're already shit canning it. It's like, oh, of course. Yeah.
They're relaunching it as Villains for Hire.
Which, don't they already have that? It's called the Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a Thunderbolt,
so it's like, whatever.
So it's Villain, are you for hire tonight? Like, dude, I can't. Every time I read that line in that book, I freaking laugh my ass off.
All right, we've rambled enough for tonight. We are going to go ahead and end this episode. If you want to hear this episode again, or more episodes.
What?
Sure, well, you never know. Sometimes people are bored and want to hear episodes multiple times. You can visit www.geekbox.net, where you can download this every other episode that we have, as well as every episode of the Geek Box, all 130 something. Yeah, it's been a long time. Man,
we were recording Geek Box for almost 3 years.
Recorded 130 episodes of that stupid thing. Jesus Christ.
We're almost on 20.
How do we have like 4? Why don't we have like 4 listeners by this point? Who the hell listens to this stuff? If you want, you can also email us, the comic conspiracy at geekbox.net. I'll remember the name of our podcast one of these days. You can come visit the store if you happen to be in Sunnyvale. We're on Fremont Avenue, 115-A, Fremont Ave, Sunnyvale, California. You take orders.
East Fremont Ave.
Whatever. I don't know. Is there a not East Fremont Ave? I guess maybe
it's considered East Fremont.
Way. Yeah. Go on the site, visit stuff. I did get the link up for our online store, which is through that distributor, so you can go on there.
Is it on the Biz one?
It's on comicsconspiracy.biz.
Okay,
right?
It's
right there on the top of the page. You can go visit that. You can order some stuff. You can always order stuff directly through the store if you want. You can visit Brock's
conspiratorbrock.blogspot.com.
I almost said conspirator blog. conspiratorbrock.blogspot. That's a lot of B words with blah blah words. Yeah. I'm on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan. You can follow me on there. Say hey.
You can tweet.
We're on Facebook under Geekbox.
Yep.
I think that's probably it.
We have Google Plus accounts too.
I don't use that piece of shit. Fuck that thing. It's stupid. The only time I ever see that something is happening to Google Plus is when I log into my Gmail account. It's like, oh, Google Plus thing. And I'm like, ignore or whatever.
I keep getting people adding me, so I'm like, okay. And I look at their page. I'm like, all right.
I mean, feel free to add me, but I'm not going to use it. So
yeah, you never know. I mean, it might tie in with tweets and all that stuff, and it might be like the Pen Ultimate.
You can already do all that. And don't forget, August 30th, 8 p.m. till midnight, plus a few minutes before I kick you all out. We're going to have some Justice League #1 and Flashpoint #5. I'll be here. Brock will be here. Maybe the podcast people from the Geek Box will be here. Maybe not. I'm not sure. We'll see what's happening. We'll probably know more next week.
Hopefully we know more next week.
Yeah.
It's coming up really fast.
I know. We'll figure it out. All right. Gonna go ahead and stop. You guys have a good weekend or week, whatever.
Did you just say weed?
Have a good weekend or week or whatever.
What is wrong with
Brock,
you?
have a good weed. I don't know.
I'm going to have a good day tomorrow, hopefully.
Okay.
Happy birthday to me.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday, Brock.
So you guys are going to get this on my birthday.
Nice.
Enjoy it.
Nice. You should call him in the morning and wake him up and wish him a happy birthday. All right. We're going to go ahead and hit stop. We will see.
You always say we're going to hit
We will
stop.
talk. I will hit pause and then stop, and we'll talk to you guys.
Pause, stop.